Hello.
That's a great way to start.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the sick King of Hearts. Trust now. Shout to Owen Hart.
I am the Bring Me the Lamp Taylor Field.
Ooh, what a fitting thing to get from Adam app right now. How many stars would you give Aladdin? Well, guess what? You're going to have to wait to find out that, Adam, because I'm doing a review right now, and that's what you're about to find out. Before we go, quick plugs to more. Well, sometime this week, we got tons of podcasts dropping. Check out a Clone Wars retro just dropped. An X-Men retro just dropped. What did we were on? We're on First Class. That was a really entertaining one. We kind of... it was Kirkland's second time seeing it, and maybe he didn't like it as much as the first time. So it's an overrated movie. That's what we talk about. What else? We got a Brightburn review. That'll be dropping later on because I think Dylan and Briggs saw that tonight. And they
went tonight. We're going tomorrow.
Yeah, and we're going tomorrow. So that'll be a little bit. There's going to be a newscast this week just because there's been a Terminator trailer. There's been a Toy Story trailer, Once Upon a Time trailer, Knights of the Republic. Tons of news dropping. So we got a bunch of podcasts dropping this week. So that's why you should just subscribe to our audio feeds or the YouTube link because, like I said, lots of podcasts dropping. And if you really like what we do, give us an iTunes written review. We're trying to hit 200. We've broken 100, so that's great. We're at 112. So
whoa,
yeah. We need just get a little more, 200 to get that milestone. So thank you for everyone that's done that. And if you like this review or anything else we do, please do that. And then next week, what are you dropping? Some big monster action.
Big King of Monster action. Yeah, we got the Godzilla King of the Monsters review. And on top of that, in celebration, I'll be releasing the highly anticipated Godzilla Netflix series Part 3.
Highly anticipated.
Kirkland has been salivating for this.
Yeah, I think Kirkland might be the only one. But you know what? Check it out because check out you did. Haven't you reviewed the other two?
I have. I've done Part 1 and Part 2. They're great times. Kirkland, loves them. So
there you go. And then after that will be Dark Phoenix. And then I'm going to keep pimping this because it's close. E3 is coming up. We'll be doing coverage for the Sunday and Monday. That means watch-alongs and podcasts right after. And then Nintendo being Tuesday, we'll either cover that night or we'll cover sometime in the week. Kind of depends how big the conference is. So, Taylor, do you have anything else to plug before we rub this review out?
Yeah, I'm gonna do
a double entendre.
Rub it. Yeah. Make sure you check out the poll happening right now. A Game of Thrones poll. It is coming to a close right now. It's semifinals. Are we live right now, or are we recording?
No. We're
recording. Okay, so this is going up tonight.
This will be out Friday morning.
Okay, so yeah, semifinal rounds are still going down right now. It's Ned Stark versus Sir Davos Seaworth, and Ned Stark, he's not far behind. He's only behind by a couple votes.
Please.
So, and I voted for him.
Stupid Stannis because our Facebook's been hijacked. But stay tuned because and then after that, the next week we'll have our Game of Thrones winner, and then there'll be something exciting dropping for the polls. And then after that, we're gonna take a break because we have E3 Comic-Con, a bunch of reviews. We're just gonna be too busy to pump those out. So the polls will come back, but they're gonna be a little break, probably for the summer. Probably come back fall.
Yeah, I need a breather. It's hard to keep up every single day getting those things.
Well,
up,
yeah.
So.
If it was a quieter time, the summer is huge. We got Spider-Man
screaming.
We got tons of stuff with new, so that's why. So we like doing them. It's not that not getting canceled. Just we need some time. But who needed time was Disney to pump out another live action. Actually, they don't need time. They already put out Dumbo, which I did not see, and the Lion King. Did you not see it either?
No, I had no excitement.
I know. I was gonna get us to rank the live action ones. Maybe we'll do the ones we've seen, but I haven't seen Dumbo. I haven't seen Pete's Dragon.
I haven't seen Pete's Dragon.
Yeah, even though I hear Pete's Dragon's good, so. Let's finally get into this. Aladdin. We're going to do non-spoilers review, and then obviously we'll jump into spoilers. Spoilers isn't really, the story's pretty similar. I think spoilers will be quickly talking about the scenes they add and whatnot, maybe some changes and everything like that. So, Taylor, Phil, I'm going to start with you. What are you in your non-spoilers thoughts? Like I said, it's a weird thing to say for a remake, but what do you think of 2019 Aladdin?
I loved it. Oh yeah, I'm a big Aladdin fan. I went out, I ordered the Diamond Edition DVD special bundle thing. It was on sale on BestBuy.ca. I ordered that, and I'm just in love with it. I'm sorry.
Why Taylor's laughing at his own joke because me and Emily, my girlfriend, and the mother of my lovely child and future child, parked beside Taylor. Then our group chat, he messaged, he said, someone dented my car. And then he took a photo of our car. Just ridiculous. Continue.
Dylan thinks it's real. Oh yeah, no, but I love Aladdin. I think it's great. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, and even leading into like the sequel. I know it wasn't actually like. I think it was just like a TV special feature film, Return of Jafar, but I love that movie as well. I think it's so good.
I do too, and Emily hates it. We just watched it the other day. I will say, to be honest, the animation is a lot lower quality because you know why?
Well, because it was just, I know they didn't bring Robin Williams back. I know it was just a TV special, so.
Well, it was, but the reason is I've never watched the show. There's a show, I think, called The Adventures of Aladdin. And
really?
that I think is just like the pilot episode put together. It's the same way, like, did you ever see Buzz Lightyear, the movie?
No, that was that, like, space, like Starfleet, or what was it?
Yeah, but the first one was just the Buzz Lightyear movie, but that span off into a TV show.
Okay,
so.
that sounds familiar now. Yeah.
I like Return of Jafar too, but it's definitely has some cons with no Ron Williams, and the animation is really low. But King of Thieves, that's great. That's great.
Growing up and being young, I used to I had the VHS of Aladdin 1 and Return of Jafar. But in the longest time, I just thought it was the same genie. I thought it was Robin Williams. Then someone one day told me, no, it's not Robin Williams. Crushed my fucking heart. Because the guy did a great job with the voice.
It's pretty. When was the last time you watched it? It's pretty
been
obvious.
A long time.
If you watched it again, you'd be like, oh, that's not Robin Williams. But he came back. He came back for King of Thieves. You've seen King of Thieves, right?
Yeah, long time. I got to rewatch those sequels.
I watched them all this week. Very dark movie. Very dark.
But yeah, no, I just a huge Aladdin fan. It's one of my, if not one of my favorite Disney movies. It's up there with like A Bug's Life for me for favorite Disney movies of all time. So good. But yeah, I have to say this movie was just great. I was laughing the whole time, and yeah, I was laughing more with my girlfriend, and I was laughing definitely with the crowd in the theater. But it was so good. I was pulled. I'm going to try to make this a very unbiased review, but it'll be hard for me because I was pulled right into that nostalgic kind of time slot, and I was just so hooked into this movie. I loved it. There's so much going on, and, I just want to get into the spoilers.
Oh, gosh. How do you like it against the original?
Obviously, there are some scenes that were switched and changed in certain ways, and some things I would have liked to have seen, but obviously for the time period we're in now in society, they obviously cut back on certain aspects in the live action movie.
Yeah, and I don't think any of them were missed, to be honest. I don't think anything was missed.
No, I just think it's funny how you have a cartoon which has certain moments which are much more brutal for probably a kid to watch, then you have the live action which is totally cut back for kids to watch.
Different time though, right? 90s.
Different time, yeah, 90s. Oof. But that being said, the scenes and everything, the songs and all that, like I always thought Jasmine was one of my favorite Disney princesses. Her and Belle. I really like Belle as well, but Jasmine live action. Definitely. I really liked Emma Watson as Belle, but now I can't remember the actress's name.
Naomi Scott.
Her as Jasmine. Oh my God.
The
Definitely.
guy on this podcast
crush.
that said she was going to be big star after Power Rangers. Go check that out. I'm very happy because Taylor said he would never compare anything again, and I just trapped him and made him compare it to the original. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
I literally just said, "Oh, how's this fair against the original?" And
fuck this! No, that's bullshit.
Boom. Let's see. So yeah, I will take over. So I've been very skeptical of this movie since probably not day one, but day one of the teaser when that dropped. Aladdin I was talking about this Emily in the car. I go back and forth between that and Lion King because I've always said that Lion King was my favorite and Aladdin was second, but when I rewatched it again, I kind of watch these movies, I'd say at least probably once every 2 years. But I thought about if I had to pick between Aladdin and Lion King, like I had a gun in my head, you could never watch one of these again, I would probably take Aladdin. It's my favorite Disney. If I'm going Disney Pixar, the top three are all Toy Story, so that's another day. But for Disney purists, it's Lion King, Aladdin, and Hercules. Somewhere in those three. I know Hercules gets a bad rep of being lower tier Disney. Not for me. I love Hercules. That Michael Bolton song is just so good. Oh my God. I just can't wait for a live action Hercules. Yeah, I'm excited.
It'll come.
It's they're gonna make live action everything. So I was, and this was one where Jungle Book and Lion King, obviously people have this, this semantics of it's not live action, this, that. I don't really care, whatever the deal is. But for me, I always thought Aladdin would make a great live action movie. And you can go back. I can't remember what Taylor thought about it, but I swear, and I will try and find the cast, I swear when Will Smith was announced as a genie, I said it was a great pick. And I think I was alone in this cast. And we're like, no, no, no. And I'm happy to report that I actually really, really enjoyed this movie. Will Smith was great. He is fantastic in this movie. And I never worried about his performance. I will say I still never loved the look. It's still, because I was hoping for trailers. This was a case where I think the CG and the look, the design and the CG really took me out of it, because I never fully felt when he was blue, he was there. It wasn't like when I talk about the Thanos effect where that just looks like a living character. There's many times where he looks good, but then he'll move and he looks like a weird CG Will Smith. So I actually preferred when he was human genie, which is funny, but I preferred that. I really liked it. This, I don't know if I wouldn't say it is the best Disney one. I'd say for me that's either Jungle Book or Aladdin, or Jungle Book or Cinderella, because I think Cinderella is so well made. But I think this one might be my favorite. I think the first 20-25 minutes I was liking but not digging. And Guy Ritchie, I've said this for the other times too, I did not think he was the right choice for this movie. He's done a lot of crime movies. His dialogue is very catchy and very quick, and that happens a lot in this movie. There's very weird instances with a certain prince that tries to talk to Naomi, or Jasmine. That's very Guy Ritchie. So there's certain moments where it feels Guy Ritchie. So I wasn't disappointed there. I was wrong there. I would say that I think the music numbers were some of the weakest, because I don't think he as a director has a good grasp on music numbers, because he's never done them before. I think some worked, and it's not spoilers. I think Whole New World worked, but to me that takes someone really, really untalented to screw that up, because that one's pretty easy. You just gotta get two singers and it's right there. It's all laid out. And Friend Like Me was definitely a change, but I went with it, so I liked it, and it felt very updated. And there's jokes that don't make sense, but there's also jokes in the original that don't make sense. There's no reason why the genie should turn into Jack Nicholson at some point, because it makes no sense, but he does. And that happens the same things too with Will Smith. It happens. It's like he turns into something like this doesn't make sense, but it's like, right, because that happens in the OG Aladdin too. So that's fine, because genies to me can kind of be all seeing. I think how do you say his name? Mina Masood. He did a great job of Aladdin, and like I said, for months or since Power Rangers, Naomi Scott, I think she's going to be big star, and had my Travis Told You stamp on her, and she did great. They had good chemistry, and somehow, and I don't know how Taylor felt about him because of his nickname, I actually ended up liking Jafar. I did.
What?
Yeah, I didn't think I would.
Oh my God.
I like the approach because they take a different approach. He's not so like... Jafar is literally a beard / mustache twirly villain in the OG movie. He literally is twirling his beard at one point. And they took a much more subtle, kind of sneaky approach with them. They took what Jafar is, but kind of toned it down a bit and kind of amplified the sneakiness instead of the overbearing, almost like comic book villain things. I wouldn't say I like this more than that Jafar, but I ended up liking. I liked it, fit the story, and I think everything except for a few key things that they added I enjoyed. There's certain different scenes between Aladdin and Jasmine I actually liked, and then there's some stuff they changed, I think, just for the sake of it, just like, it's minor spoilers, but how like Aladdin gets out of the cave. I was not a fan of that, because it's just I feel like sometimes they change some stuff just to be different. I'll get into it in spoilers.
You'll have to go back and revisit that.
Yeah, I did, because I just really like how they do it in the original, and this felt very lazy. This just felt, I don't know, it felt strange. So yeah, this was a good adaptation. I feel it was directed by a very great director, but I don't know if it was directed by someone that like overly loves Aladdin or Disney. Maybe he does, but there's little things that bug me as well. It's like, I don't understand. I get why Mina isn't shirtless the whole movie, but why, and this is the super fan nitpickiest thing, but why the fuck isn't his like little vest purple? Why can't it be purple? Why did it have to be red? So that's why I feel there's lots of little stuff like that where when we watch something like Endgame and we go, oh, look at this little fine detail, they really care. That's where I felt like this wasn't directed by a superfan. And that's fine. There's little cons like that. But for me, I actually, like I said, really enjoyed it. I think if you like Aladdin, it's a must see. I don't think it's a guarantee you'll like it, but I think you should go and give it a shot. I would recommend this to people with kids. If you don't like Disney, someone like Dylan's on this review, he's not a really big fan of Disney. The trailers didn't do much for him. I don't think this is going to do anything more for you. I think, and I'd like to talk to someone that's never seen the animation movie, but I think if you've never seen it, I think there's enough enjoyable, and I think kids would really like it. I will say now as a father that I'll have two theater nitpickies. You know what? I get kids can be excited. And no, I wasn't a jerk that didn't that said something. But there was this girl beside me. She's probably about 10 or 11. And it's at the point where you can sing and dance, but there's a point of it's fun to a point of being obnoxious. She dabbed over 15 times.
Dabbed?
Yeah. And to me, that's why when I said she's about 10 or 11, kids can get excited and sing. I know you go, oh, you know, you're so bitter. But as a father now, I can make that call and say, that kid's old enough to be like, hey, calm down. When they're just moving arms and just that's like, calm your fucking kid, okay? If you're at home, fine. But beside me, blah. And then the other thing is my second gripe is, I get it. You're super excited. But during Whole New World, somebody was like singing the song behind me. Shut the fuck up. I didn't pay to hear you sing. I paid to see Naomi and Mina sing the song. I want to hear the music. I don't just because, and I feel like it's someone just singing it to show that I know the lyrics. It's one of the most sought out Disney songs. Everybody knows the fucking lyrics. So you don't need to say, oh, new, shut up. I don't need to hear you. So that really annoyed me. Keep to yourself. Keep these antics at home. Watch the movie. So yeah, got some youngins that was a grown adult too. I just looked back. I was like, you're at least 30 to 40. You need to shut the fuck up. That's my piece before we can get into spoilers.
Oh my god. Yeah, you know, you said you're like youngins in years. It was all older women in mine. 100%. Like, this isn't much of a spoiler, but at the very, very, very end of the movie, like when right before the credits are about to roll, Will Smith, like, he's singing, he's like, you never had a friend like me. And this old lady, when it cuts to black, is just like, I want a friend like you. Just said it so loud in the theater. But other than that, the old ladies were just like, they were loving it. They weren't singing, they weren't dabbing, but you know, they were laughing out loud. And we're walking out of the theater. This one old lady is like, that was the best movie I've ever seen in a long time, in years. Like, well, these old ladies, they're all about that Will Smith.
Let me take you to Endgame, and then I'll show you some. Anything to say before we non-spoilers, because you had a big reaction. How did you feel about Jafar?
The only thing that stood up for me was, you know, everyone talking about his voice. It was not a con at all for me. Like, it just blended in fine. I liked it, but I was just laughing at times because, you know, you guys had such a big gripe with it. Like, you know, I can make you rich beyond your wildest dreams.
Bring me the lamp, Aladdin.
Impress a princess.
See, because for me, that I thought, because this is not a big spoiler, it's just how the character is. I thought for the most of these trailers and teasers, it looked like they were going for a very similar vibe to the OG. So if this guy was playing that Jafar, I thought it was not a good choice. Like I said, the Jafar they choose, he is more sneaky, he is more behind the scenes, and that's already Jafar. But they just toned down his like really bombastic moments. They take out, and it's not a big spoiler, they take out a lot of like the weird sexual stuff between him and Jasmine, him like flirting with her. They touch upon that, but there's no like him touching her or stuff like that. So for me, now that I saw the movie, and that's why, you know, that's we do the podcast, but sometimes you can't judge till you see it. We always say that. I'm fine with like the voice and the vibe, but when I thought, oh, he's supposed to be playing this very huge kind of Disney villain Jafar, the animated Jafar, no, I wasn't for it. But once I saw what they're going for, it worked.
Mm-hmm. I will say, completely went over my head. It was Guy Ritchie directing this. Completely forgot till I was watching it. Like, I love what he did with Sherlock Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, huge fan of both
You a
those
King Arthur
movies.
fan?
I have to watch that again.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah. Again, did you like it the first time? I've never seen it. Jude Law's in it.
Jude Law is in it, so that's good. Yeah, the first time I saw it, it was a while ago, but I can't remember much of it. It was like the Late Late Show. I gotta watch that again.
That's not a good recommendation. I don't remember much of it.
But I think he did great with this movie.
So yeah, we're getting into the spoilers. You know the story, so you can probably just stick around if you're not going to see and hear what they change. And if not, I don't think it's going to be a big, massive deep dive because we already talked about things we liked. And okay, I'll save it for spoilers. But so even though there's two of us, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. Taylor's going to say Geek versus Assemble. And then we're getting to spoilers. And we're going to say that, and then everybody, Dylan's going to pop in. Jessica with Baby's going to come in, you know, just like a certain superhero movie. So 3, 2, 1.
Geek versus Assemble.
So spoilers. So this is very random to start off with, but I do not understand for the life of me why they got Alan Tudyk to voice Iago when any voice actor in the world could have voiced Iago, because he is a bit more intelligent, but he's just a talking parrot. He's just Prince Ali, second. I don't know why you would get Alan Tudyk, because when I thought they were gonna do Iago, like, you know, him talking, fully making out plans, I'm like, oh, Alan Tudyk makes sense. But for the size that Iago was in this, it did not need to be Alan Tudyk. It's not me. It's just that, like, they paid him probably, like, not a huge amount of money, but, like, you could have got anybody. Like, Guy Ritchie could have been Iago. It was a very strange choice.
Very strange.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. It's Gilbert Godfrey, right?
Yeah, in the OG. Yeah.
I would have loved if they just brought him back. You know, like
There's
James
no
Earl
point,
Jones,
because he barely
King.
talks.
True, but even just the one-liners, like, I would have loved it. It would have been hilarious.
So, and this is two other fan things I want to mention where like I said, this little things that annoy me. I'm so mad that we never got "Who Dare Disturbs My Slumber," because that's just such an iconic line.
I forgot about that line.
Yeah, well, I guess not that iconic for Ted, but we didn't get that. We didn't get "Calm Yourself, Iago." Like, there's a lot. That's why I felt this was made by a great director, but I don't think it was made by a Feige Russo brothers who are just dripping in Aladdin lore. I think he
Aladdin lore.
Well, yeah, I just. Well, I just think, like, yeah, I know it's such a minor complaint, but it's just things that I love, and that's why to me it's always stuff when we talk about some comic movies versus other ones, and just like we look at the MCU and all the detail stuff. Like, yeah, I'm having a red vest, that bugs me. Just make it purple. Why can't it be purple?
The vest went over my head. Like, for me, it was just.
Oh, that's what bugged me so much in this movie. It railed up.
I was kind of like taken aback when they're like, okay, we don't see like the thief coming up with like the pendant piece.
Oh, at the
like
very beginning?
The half of the scarab, golden scarab
yeah,
piece.
they skipped over that beginning very quickly.
Yeah, which, like, I don't mind. Like, I think the beginning they went with, I absolutely loved it. And 3D, by the way, this film was actually, like, for a 3D movie, really, really, like, really well done.
Loved doing 2D.
I have to say, though, with Genie kind of like at the beginning on the boat and then kind of going into the story, and just right away he starts going into singing, like Will Smith singing. I'm a big fan of it. I really like it.
Well, he was a singer. I liked everything he did in the movie sing wise except for Arabian Nights. It just
I loved it.
I didn't, because his style of singing in real life, he's a rapper, that it was very kind of, they're going for operatic. I liked the music rendition. I didn't like his voice. It wasn't enough to hate it, but I think the rest of them were good. Friend Like Me, obviously that was a bit more rappy. Prince Ali was good because it was a little more rappy again, but it was more comedic. So he was more just kind of like talk singing. But Arabian Nights, yeah, I didn't love, and I didn't love the opening, and I didn't love what is the thief song actually called in Latin? Why am I forgetting that? The Jump. What is it called?
The thief song.
When he's just I guess in the first film it's the introduction to Aladdin, but this is when Aladdin or Jasmine.
Jump ahead.
Yeah, so I was close. I got Jump in there. That I did not like the music number for that. I didn't like. There's times they're doing weird camera tricks where
it was like slow mo, but they were speaking in real time.
Yeah, it felt like to me when I have to edit Gauntlet videos and the dubbing's off, so I have to like kabuki it and change all the stuff. So it didn't feel stylized. It felt like bad editing. So for me, the first 20-25 minutes, I wasn't hating, but it felt very cheap and very low budget and very Disney
Channel.
That's
Guy Ritchie kind of.
But that's where I think it didn't. I think that Guy Ritchie thing didn't work. The two Guy Ritchie things I thought really worked was that Scottish prince was full on Guy Ritchie humor. He's not a terror. he has Tarantino tendencies, but he's not to that vibe. But they love having kind of weird, kooky stuff, and that to me was a very Guy Ritchie moment. I really like that. I like that actor a lot. He's not in this movie at all that much, but that and the whole jams and presenting to the princess.
Oh, that was so good.
That was very Guy Ritchie humor of just going on and joke beating it to death, and it's something very weird. But I really liked it. Will Smith was great in that scene. Will Smith was the best part of this movie. I actually really enjoyed both the actors that did Mina and Naomi, who did Aladdin, and Jasmine. But I thought Will Smith killed it. I wasn't worried at all. The Friend Like Me number was good. Obviously, that was quite different, but I think all the stuff they changed for the most part worked for me, other than, like I said, some of those weird techniques. I did not, the first 20-25 minutes felt like Disney Channel, and I was like, we're in for a wild ride here. It was sitting at like a solid 5 out of 10 at that point.
I have to say, like, yeah, I loved Will Smith as Genie. I thought he was fantastic. And, I liked the build-up and everything leading up to it. Like, they threw Jasmine and meeting Aladdin right away at the beginning. I was like, oh, we're just going right into it. Not the build-up for escaping the palace or whatever. But, that's fine. I got over it. And not that I was biding my time waiting for Genie to pop up, because I was really enjoying the kind of journey we were going on. And I loved when Aladdin snuck into the palace and Jafar's like, what do you see, Iago? He just walks to his window and Aladdin's just parkouring in.
Down in the rough.
I definitely, though, enjoyed it when Genie popped in, and he I was one of the few, I think, that laughed. Maybe a couple of old ladies did, but when he put the symbols in Abu's hands and put the thing on his back, and he's like soldier marching, like, and blowing the kazoo. Oh, I fucking love that. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I thought Will Smith did a great job because it felt enough like the Rob Williams animated one, but it felt like his own different spin. Because there's one moment where when the genie, he's talking about when he creates Ali's suit, or just kind of his like prince garb, and he's talking about he's on fire, and he literally goes on fire and he's running around. That felt exactly like Robin Williams' Genie when he just goes on tirades and he's doing weird stuff. But then other times, especially when he was a human form, felt a lot different, like, which it sounds weird, but this Genie is like really flirty, and obviously he has a love interest movie, that was completely obvious to me. The second, so he's on this boat, I guess that's one thing we should mention if you didn't see the movie. The movie opens with kind of similar, but it's not a racist opening where, with Ron Williams playing a not a white person in the animated film, going, oh, this is the story. Yeah. Like with this, is like he's playing a man that has the same the garb of where he's from in that country, but he's not playing a different nationality. He's playing Will Smith with a turban and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, so it could have been a risky choice, but they played it as safely as possible. But so he's on this boat, he's talking the tale of Aladdin and Jasmine to these two kids, and then he has this wife. The giveaway was, I think they shouldn't ever show the wife, because when they show the wife, her face is like masked and you can't see it. So the second he's like, oh, and that nice looking handmaid, it's like,
that was when I got it. I didn't pick it up before, though.
Well, I knew that was going to be I had a feeling that was going to be the Genie, but I felt they shouldn't even showed her because it would have been kind of fun. Maybe I would have figured out what that was. And that's why I'd feel anything that's big changes, it's still pretty much a kid's movie. Like I'd say a family movie, but it's enjoyable. And I actually liked that twist because I was wondering this the other day, and I've always wondered this every time I watch Aladdin, of the rules. And I'm not gonna say it's bad for Aladdin because it was a child Disney's movie, but the rules to me have never made sense when the genie gets freed and he gets to be still a fucking genie with all his powers.
Oh,
it was great for
wild in the cartoon.
It was great for all the sequels and whatnot, but for me, from a logistics standpoint, it's just like, so he could just go and take over the world if he really wanted to. He's just so powerful. So I liked the change of, I don't want to say I liked it more, and most of the change, like I said, we'll get to, I liked, but I liked him becoming just a guy. Because to me, that would make sense that you're serving a debt, whatever you are, you're a genie. Yeah, you have all these powers and you're almighty, but you can't really use them for anything because you got to use them for other people and you can't use them for yourself. So the second he's freed, he's a man, and that's what I like.
True, but in Return of Jafar, he was freed, but he wasn't Genie, I wish you could be human. Genie, I wish you're free. So he was free, but his powers were starting to lessen. That's why Jafar was always stronger, because he was full on Genie.
Still, but, at one point, Genie just makes an army of different genies who have guns and stuff like that. He's still very powerful. So to me, it's like you're serving out a life sentence. He was serving a life sentence.
It's like probation.
Because to me, it's like in Aladdin. For me, it makes sense of if you are a man and somehow you get cursed and you become a genie, that makes sense. But if you just were born a genie, where are the rest of the genies in the world?
Well, I think he was probably just created as a genie because he wanted to be free and be a human. So, obviously he's never.
But why there are
other
no genies? Because even in Aladdin, he's like, oh, you don't know what a genie is? There's supposed to be other genies out there.
Oh, there's other genies.
It's just ridiculous. So I actually did like that change of Will Smith becoming a man at the end.
It was good. It kind of ruins my hope for, unless they do a really good Return of Jafar live action, which I want them to do it. I really do.
I don't think even though the end of the movie, Jafar is really heavily trying to set up a sequel.
I hope we get it.
While he was going into that lamp of just being, you've never heard, the last of me, or I'm going to make you pay. I think you would get a sequel, but it wouldn't be Return to Jafar. It would be in a similar vein of Jafar comes back, but the plot would not be. Obviously, it can't be at all because the genie's not the genie anymore. And clearly, there's been some years past because Genie has kids. So
True.
I think if there was a sequel to this, it'd be much different. And I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It's reviewed kind of right down in the middle on box office. I think it'd go either way because I can also see people that love Aladdin still not enjoying this because there was times where I didn't enjoy it. So and the same thing if you don't like Will Smith's Genie, for me, fortunately, I did and Taylor did as well. If you didn't, then I think that's going to be obviously a big outlier for you not to enjoy this movie because he's like Ron Williams. He's in it a lot. So
he is in a lot. All right, you just reminded me of something. I remember I entered this coloring contest when I was little. I used to do tons of coloring contests, won tons of stuff, but I did one for this grocery store, and the prize was like a toothbrush and toothpaste, and they were all out of it.
Wow.
They gave it all out to a bunch of other kids that entered sooner than I did. But they were like, you know what? We got this Aladdin video game, and they gave
it was a great game. The SNES version.
I'm not talking about that one. This one was a sequel where Jafar is dead, but it was like some weird Jafar cousin woman lookalike, and she was speaking to Jafar in the underworld and was trying to bring him back.
I love video game.
Amazing.
I love not what you're talking about today in our group chat of video game based movies. No. I like the video game sequel games that would make no sense and they're just based on such wow, this is wild.
This was one of that. I was never able to beat it because the Cave of Wonders, going back to it, was way too difficult. But it was a long game. It was great. Totally 3D adventure. Wild. But it was so good. I have to go and get it again, see if I can find it. But yeah.
But yeah, another change you talked about. So usually how it goes in the original is, so we meet Jasmine a lot before, but the movie picks up. You pretty much just get a montage of the first 15 minutes of the animated movie in Arabian Nights, and then we meet Aladdin and Jasmine at the same time when she's doing the pretending she's a civilian, and he bumps into her, and that's relatively the same, except they do this thing where he takes I won't get in the full thing, but she has a bracelet from her mother. Abu takes it, who Abu is great in this movie. Abu takes it, and she doesn't believe him. She's like, you just really are a thief, and she leaves him, and she's mad at him. So this gives him a reason to go back to the palace to talk to her, to give that back, and then they do this kind of cute thing where he steals another thing, and he tells her to meet her there because you got to come get this back. It's all
works very well on women.
I wouldn't know. I've never stolen something from a woman and be like, meet me back. Well, actually, I think I have once.
Whoa.
I think there was a pen scenario in my life.
A pen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Strange. So, so they changed some meet cues and how it goes with Aladdin and Jasmine, and I really like those scenes. I like the scenes at the palace. I think it built their chemistry a lot quicker because I feel even when they do the magic carpet ride in this movie, it works. But for me, it's a lot tougher to see live action characters fall in love in half an hour than it is in an animated kids movie. So I think adding these scenes of them kind of talking, flirting at the palace worked to the movie's benefit. So those, again, are changes I really enjoyed.
Yeah. So. The one change that I noticed, I was like, okay, this guy, when she gives the bread to the kids, the guy's going to pull his sword out and try to cut her arm off. But the sword he didn't have a sword in his waist. He's just like,
he just called the
Aladdin, street rat. you gonna pay for that? And yeah, it just escalates from there. But I was like, oh,
I don't know if I endorse you doing that accent, but you know.
But yeah, no, not that I want the violence and everything like that, but it would have been, pretty. It would have been cool to stick to their roots. Kids. I was driving home the other day, and I saw a couple of 7-year-olds on their little scooters,
So
and
they came out with a sword. You take my bread.
They were middle finger up, like middle fingering each other, and I was just thinking, you know what? These are 7-year-old kids.
They were what?
They were. Okay, I see what you did there.
I didn't do anything. You just said they were middle fingering each other.
They were giving each other the bird, And I was just thinking, the 7-year-old kids playing Fortnite. Oh my god! And these are kids though that could handle going to Aladdin and seeing some shop owner going Aladdin and whipping out his sword. So
not needed.
Disney didn't have to cut it back. I just think it's funny how you have 90s Disney and you have 19s Disney. So.
I'm fine with them cutting it because, again, same thing as a romance. I think violence like that can feel less intimidating in an animated movie. But if he literally just takes out this sharp knife, it seems a little meh. I think they want to make the people look a little bit better than just having them complete savages of what's this guy going to do? He's just going to cut her arm off, right? Even if that's the way it was better, or even if that's the way it was back then or at some point in time, I think they want to try and portray it a little better. So I didn't have a problem with that. Yeah.
From that point on though, not that point was bad. It's not a con or anything for me, but no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the guards. I enjoyed him deeking around and everything like that, and deeking around with the princess too. That was pretty cool.
I liked it. I think sometimes they gave him one too many flips. The one that really bugged me is when Jafar sends him to the edge of the world, and he's in the snow and he's trying to get a boo, and he's jumping back and forth between the ice walls. That's fine. Yeah, but then there's one point where he stops and he backflips onto.
Yeah.
Didn't know he could just drop. It's really annoying. So I didn't like. There's some things I didn't like that they made him a little too parkour-y.
I loved it. Full on Assassin's Creed coming out.
Yeah, no, it's not for me.
I actually really okay. I'll say this now because we talked about the end part earlier, and I know I'm gonna forget it. I really had a con with Jafar. Well, not a con. I want Jafar to be full on red genie mode.
Yeah, they kind of.
I think that was for the kids to not terrify them as much. But red Jafar genie, he is a scary motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was disappointed in two things that way because one, they made him have a tint of red, and he was very kind of big and muscular. Same thing again to the genie's design. I don't think the genies need to be buff. I really didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I know they have the genie working at one point. It's kind of a joke, but I don't know. Especially because it'd be different if The Rock was playing the genie. I'd go, oh, The Rock looks like that. I know Will Smith doesn't look like that. He's an in-shape guy, but he's not fucking massive. So that's why I think another thing that throws you off, because it's he's not that size, because they even make his face bigger that way. So even this guy Jafar, he's kind of a smaller guy. When he's genie, he's jacked. That, and also we didn't get, because I think it's another thing that's very scary, it wasn't really set up the same way. I like everything about the ending as far as the way Jafar gets out. I like the setup of how he very at the beginning of the movie, Jafar is talking to Aladdin, he's I was kind of like you at one point, and he steals Jasmine's.
Sly.
Yeah, I like that. So it sets that up. I like the way he gets out of prison. I like that set up a lot better as far as the guards going against him and him becoming the sorcerer. There's two things I didn't like. The one thing I'll talk about quickly was I understand why they didn't do it, but they replaced the big Jafar snake with the giant Yago, which was fine, but not as cool. It was the snake. I agree with you that the red genie is super cool and the snake is really scary and just cool looking. And I was really disappointed because when I watched it again this week, I was like, man, we're going to see that live action. I can't wait. And we didn't, because they did set it up a bit differently, because in the original, Jafar's kind of won and Jasmine's wearing some kind of racy garb and everyone's kind of all over the place, where this is in the middle of a wedding. Aladdin's running up, so there's not a place to be sneaky around. And the set they're on is actually pretty small. It's like a rooftop somewhere. So I get that. And the other thing, I think the first changed work, but I think the second time excuse me, I got a cold. It's great. The second time they did Jasmine's song number did not work for me, and that was
second time.
So the first time they added it was I can't remember what happened, but she sang to herself. I think it was after she meets the Scottish prince, and then the Sultan's like, "You gotta get married. We're running out of time." Then she kind of is singing about not wanting to do this, wanting to have a life. The second time was very egregious, and I think it was the placing, because I'm fine with her having another song number, and this was a very kind of empowering moment, but it was too cheesy, and I think it was the placement of it didn't work, because the shit is entirely dropping. Everything's going wrong. It's
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like the rising action before we get into the climax of the film, or the third act, I should say. And it's when the Sultan's down and Jafar's a sorcerer and he's all taken over, and he's like, "Take Jasmine away," and they're taking her, and then she just stops and she turns around and stops saying, "I can beat," whatever she's singing. And I was like, oh, and then she's walking to everybody and she sings in their face, and they get snapped by Thanos. They all like disappear, and it was real. And I love Naomi Scott, but I don't think it was her. I think it was in that moment they direct her to be very powerful and very just like eyes like bulging and stuff like that. And it didn't. Either the placement of the song should have came at a different point, or they should have done a different song, because I think those two things together, it didn't work, because it just killed the tension right away. And then it was weird for her to be singing at the guards, for them to like disappear, like she's like, trying to stand up to them.
Musicals, they can get away with
No,
that.
but what's weird is because to me, I feel like the music portion should either be portraying what's going to happen or what's happening currently. So she's going to all these guards because he's the Sultan. They turn on him. And what happens in the next scene is she talks to this guard Akeem. They give the guards a bit more development, very minor, but a bit more, to be like, "We've been with you. We were with you with a young man and helped you out, blah, blah, blah. Are you really going to turn your back on us?" And he doesn't. But in the song number, she's walking up to all the guards, singing in their face very powerfully, and they're disappearing. So it makes it feel like she is kind of going against the guards, like, "I can be better than you, stronger than you." Yeah, because they're literally disappearing in front of her.
Disappears too.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he disappears.
No.
Yep.
Does he?
Yeah.
Then that's just stupid, because then it's just even cheesier, and that just felt like Disney Channel. Because I'd have to go back. I didn't think the father did, but if he didn't, then I stand by my point of it doesn't make sense, and if he did, it was just bad. Overall, that whole number was bad, and it sucks for not Naomi Scott wasn't bad because she's doing her job, she sings well, but like I said, the placement of it, I don't even think the song's bad, but just the moment and how they framed it was not good, really not good.
Yeah, when she started breaking down the song right after that moment, it definitely, I was taken aback a little bit, and I was thinking, okay, this is kind of odd, but that being said, like, as it progressed, I actually really enjoyed the song. I enjoyed the kind of setup. I took it as, she was just trying to break free from being, trapped in this, obviously this small, like, environment where, she can't be herself and rule and all that stuff. And she's breaking free from what everyone else is saying, and she's standing up for what she knows is the right thing to do. And I love that.
You know what I would have done, though, is because it's still, obviously, the song number is against Jafar as well. But I would have swapped them and had the bigger song number take place at the beginning when her dad says, "I'm Sultan and things aren't going to change." And then at that point, put in just the smaller one of she turns around. Get rid of all these guards disappearing and all this shit, because the song at its core is about overcoming, because they give Jasmine a lot more to do, and it is about, there is signs of like woman empowerment and not letting a man hold you back, because there's so many times like, "What do you know? You're a woman." I think Jafar literally says that to her, and he calls her just woman multiple times. And and at the end of this movie, Jasmine, it doesn't just get married and Aladdin becomes the Sultan eventually. She becomes the Sultan. So I liked all these touches and changes. So to me, I don't think we needed this. And even if you want to do this disappearing act, fine. But I think you do the big number at the beginning. At the end, when the guards are taking her away, she turns, sings that small version of she did, and then she goes right back into the scene. Not this whole, because it's weird for her to be, she starts at a certain point, she breaks away, and people are disappointed. She gets all the way to the other side of the room, and then the scene just cuts, and she's back to where she was. And she's like, "No, Jafar." So I think they literally could have just done that little song number right there, just that 30, 40 45-second version, and that would have fit a lot better. It wouldn't have been so egregious. Where the net like that one they have now, that song goes on for over a minute, and it feels very strangely placed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to shout out? Any changes? Anything like that?
I really enjoyed the dance scene between Aladdin and Jasmine.
Yeah,
I loved how it started. I loved that Will Smith was sticking around, and he was just, it looked so, it was hilarious. I was laughing. And then I loved how he just breaks off into his solo dance and like is just going crazy and everything. I really, really enjoyed Will Smith as like that best friend, like not Hitch kind of styled role.
He was pretty Hitch. He was human. He was not Hitch, that character, but there's times like the jam when he's like, "This is the worst moment of my life." That's very Hitch when he's talking to Kevin James.
Yeah.
So he tapped into that, but I think it was a good idea too.
Yeah, I just, there was so much that this movie was doing like a great job with, and I was just like, I was tapping along, enjoying all of these songs that popped up. Like I loved, Friend Like Me. I loved when Prince Ali, that song plays when he's coming to town.
I loved when it was near the end of that song, and then he looks at the salt and he's like, "We're not gonna drop it till you're into," because he was like tapping his hand, the salt, and he stops, and then the cue is for him to tap his hand. He's like, "We're not going until you go. You gotta go." Like, that was really good.
I thought it was very clever how Jasmine kind of called Aladdin out too when they're on the carpet.
Yeah, that's fun.
She's like, "Yeah, that monkey down there looks like Abu. No, Abu's back at the." I like that. Now you said earlier, the getting out of the cave, you felt like it was lazy.
Well, because I like the way in the original where Genie does all this stuff, and he is same thing. Friend Like Me music number, very different in this movie. I liked. I'll get to that cave part. The Friend Like Me one, I liked some of the stuff when they literally put Aladdin in a restaurant and this and that. I liked that a lot there. I didn't know if I liked the Aladdin on the strings and then all the genies dancing beside each other. Yeah, that I liked the more imagery and imagination idea as opposed to the actual dancing, because the dancing is very, very... So it's funny, like that joke I was talking about, Genie at one point turns into a bunch of flight attendants, and that's a joke where it's like, that makes no sense in the context of that world. It's only for us. But like I said, Jack Nicholson and OG Robert De Niro, Sylvester Stallone at times, I think in the second one. So, he does that. A genie's all seeing. But that's why for me, sometimes the stuff that didn't vibe was a lot of the dancing that felt too current to me, and that's what I didn't like in the Friend Like Me number. So after that happens in the original, he says, "You got 3 wishes," and Aladdin's like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't really buy you. You're not that powerful. I don't know if you could really even get us out of here." And then she's like, "Oh, what? I'll get you out of here." And he gets him out of there. He's like, "Oh, you got 2 wishes now." Like, I never said I wish. They introduced this thing of you have to be holding the lamp to wish, but he didn't say that to my knowledge before he did the wish. He says that retroactively. So Aladdin goes, "I wish you got us out of this cave." And the genie doesn't. What happens is Aladdin had the lamp, he slides behind him, and the monkey gets it. Especially because every other time he makes the wish, he's full and like standing in front of Genie. So I didn't like it. Felt lazy, especially because the first one, like the original, it is sly, and it also alludes to how he tricks Jafar later into becoming a genie, like kind of Taylor's favorite word, playing to his hubris, So with this, just saying "I wish" and then playing on some schematics of like, well, I wasn't holding that lamp, Abu was holding the lamp, even though you saw me holding it. And I didn't like that. It was not a big con, but it just felt it was strange, because then after that, the genie's like, "You got to be holding the lamp." He never said that. He said you got to rub the lamp, but he didn't say you need to be rubbing it during a wish. But then after they do that. So for me, it was strange that you had a perfectly good explanation how he gets out of the cave in the original. And it was one of those things that, to me, it's sometimes like they do for Marvel and Spider-Man Homecoming. They just changed it for the sake of, we want to be different than Aladdin. We want to be different than Tobey Andrews, Garfield Spider-Man. So let's just change this just because. So I thought it was kind of lazy.
I can see that. For me, I liked it because I feel like the other way Aladdin got out in the original, it worked well with Robin Williams' Genie. I think that
this Genie's still super overconfident.
He is, but I feel like the way they did it, like it suited this kind of genie, because like, as you said, like they're similar genies, but then again they're very different at the same time. So I didn't mind it as much. But then you said there were certain things I think you said were too modern in the
just some of the
Cave
dance
Wonders.
moves. Yeah.
Okay.
Like not the actual. I don't mind. Like I said, I'm going restaurants, but it was when he got Aladdin on screen. Just the moves. It looks like so you think you can dance going on, and especially we got that Aladdin Jasmine one, which that one was fine because it was him trying to impress Jasmine, so I didn't mind it there. But that I didn't love.
I didn't mind it. I've all the modern dancing, like it made me want to get up and dance. Like I love the Will Smith moves and stuff, and like again all the modern things that they do in this just reminds me of like the ever impressive itty bitty living space, like that Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of thing, and like just all that. Gotta be a straight shooter. Do you got it? Like just again, like you said, it's just completely makes no sense for like a Arabian like Aladdin storyline that's like set in like the
centuries
ago, yeah. But it's great. It's like breaking that like fourth wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
but no Fresh Prince of Bel-Air jokes. I was very surprised.
No, but I for me that whole scene, like there's a lot of gray area in making me a prince. I could just make you a prince, and I just see my palace. Like I that reminds me of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like the colors of his clothes even remind me of a Fresh Prince kind of look. But
I still wish it was Prince the singer, but that's
fine. There's one thing that Madison pointed out. Actually, I totally missed it. But when he is actually in the tent saying like, I can just make you a prince. I didn't even realize this, but in the background, obviously, you see Carpet making the actual Disney's official castle, and he throws the sand over it to make that arc. I didn't even catch that.
Oh, really?
So I thought that was actually a super cool little thing in there.
Yeah, Carpet was great.
Yeah, totally forgot to actually shout him out. His characters, I love Carpet in the cartoon.
But he's very similar to the cartoon. He's doing funny stuff. He has a personality. I think they make him and Abu even more friends, and same thing. Abu's great in this movie.
Yeah, I think, you said it. I think Carpet just his tendencies and like, I can't remember what the joke was, but Genie was like, Carpet, you hear this? And Carpet's just doing his like act, belly laughs or whatever. But I thought it was great. I thought, Apu was like hilarious. I love that scene. I was waiting for like, how are they gonna incorporate like when he touches something or grabs something, like what's gonna happen? Like how are they gonna do it? I love when the gem fell and it's like spinning and his eyes are like big time, just like his pupils are dilating and it's just spinning in front of him. I thought, oh, this is absolutely hilarious, like just so good. And God, what else? I love that scene when Aladdin was drowning and Apu just throws the
who?
lamp. Abu. Sorry.
He's not Naboo. He's not the planet that the.
Did I say Naboo? I didn't say Naboo.
It sounded like Naboo or Naboo.
Really?
That's what I thought I heard.
Oh, yikes.
Hate sand.
But I love when Genie was down there and he kind of forged. I love all the gray areas between all like everything. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was actually hilarious, and I like when even Aladdin kind of turns and is like, "I'll use my last wish I need to save it so you can help me out," and turns his back on Will Smith. And
I wish Will Smith, because at one point he's like, "Oh, you just want to be freed," and he's like, "I don't even care about that wish," and that's all it was. I like the line again from the OG. Another one I'd say was another weird reason they didn't throw out when he says, "Oh," like at one point the Genie talks about how many people have said they're gonna free him and they don't. So I kind of wish they did that. Where in this, Will Smith just kind of like brushed it off, like, I don't care about that wish. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe he doesn't care about this wish. So I wish that they would have kept that line in, because there's some things that they I get why they took out, but there's some other ones I don't, and there's some things that I understand why they sped quickly, but then there's other times where it was a fine scene, but when they did that Jasmine and Dolly and then Aladdin and Genie talking about their dates, and they keep going back to back and they kind of like using similar words or sentences, that wasn't needed. That added nothing to the story other than Jasmine just being, I believe him. It's just, you could have, she's a good enough actress to sell that in her face. So there's a few things that they added. I don't think that were big things that deterred, but little scenes like that were like, this doesn't need to happen, So
I really enjoyed Jasmine's assistant, or like handmaiden. I thought that was a cool addition. I like the romance between her and Genie, and I thought that was all good. I enjoyed her humor actually a lot too. Like, I'm trying to remember a specific thing. can't remember.
I was all right on it. I was all right. I liked it enough, but I didn't. Yeah, I liked more than I didn't like. So I'll say that.
I kind of just jumping around different points now all over the place. But I mean, I loved it when Aladdin, again, back to like the meeting scene of like him as a prince and meeting the Sultan. He's just standing there holding his like staff, like his cane, just up like that. It was just, that was great. And yeah.
How'd you break that?
Yeah, I love the emphasis as he's like on his foot, he's kicking it around behind Aladdin or whatever. I love when the parade scene, they come in and fucking they show Will Smith and his hat is huge. Yeah. Oh my god, that was hilarious. But again, that dance number was awesome. Yeah, everyone dancing and stuff like that. I love when Will Smith like changes. He's like the woman thing, and he pulls the cloth up and it's the beard and stuff.
That's what I was really getting in the movie. I liked everything at that point, but the Prince Ali thing actually sold me quite a bit. So and sold me a lot on Will Smith because that's when we're seeing him fully as human form. And like I said, I actually like human form Genie a bit better. So
I really like when Jafar wants to talk to Aladdin privately, and he's like, I can be a good like ally or asset to you, and starts to put him in a trance.
You're not listening. He just freaks out at him.
Yeah. Will Smith just comes in and like scoops him out, and he's like, "So that's the guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's the guy."
I didn't like that either.
You didn't like that?
No, and I didn't like that conversation when it's like, "There's a guy, a guy who wants all." I didn't need it. That was weird exposition.
I thought it was hilarious.
No, see, that didn't land for me at all. When he's just like, "Oh, you're not the guy. There's always a guy who I want money." I liked that part, but it just felt like that gag went on for too long for me. So yeah.
Really, not that I felt like it was long for me, but I felt like if any joke went on too long, it was the jam. Because they kept mentioning
that to me, they kept mentioning, or the guy joke, they mentioned in that moment, but I meant the actual thing in the cave, them talking about the guy, that went on for way too long. Yikes. Yeah. Because that's what I say. I really enjoy this movie, but I think the stuff that didn't work for me really didn't work. Like I said, like that Jasmine song number, things like the jokes. There's just jokes that it wasn't even like, oh yeah, I see. It was like, this is not funny. I'm not really into this at all. So there's a lot more I liked, thank goodness. But the stuff that didn't work for me really didn't work.
Gosh, I don't know if I have really too much else to add. Like, I guess just like the ending scene would have been super cool if we got, Red Jafar Genie. We got Jasmine, thrown into an hourglass. We got the Sultan being, what's the term? Like a pirouette doll or whatever. Kind of like being controlled or whatever with that, like the stilt thing or whatever. That would have been hilarious. And then, what is the tiger's name? Raja. If Raja could have been changed to the kitten, all that stuff, it would have been cheesy, I guess, because it's live action and it works in the cartoon. But
yeah, I still did some cheesy stuff in here. Yago being a big bird is pretty cheesy.
Yeah, I didn't mind Yago for certain things. A lot of it, I enjoyed him kind of saying like second, and all that stuff. Jafar smelling the guys at the beginning was a little intense, and then like him trying to catch a whiff of Jasmine, he was like trying to smell her.
Yikes.
Yeah. But, Jafar. All you bring me is roughs. Is that what he said? Yeah, that's an interesting term.
Well, because they said you got to find the rough and the diamond.
Yeah. And he's just like, yeah, all you bring me are roughs.
Or diamond in the rough, sorry.
Diamond in the rough.
Yeah, and he kept bringing me the rough, so I was referring to the prophecy.
Yeah, the prophecy.
It's not his street slang, I think.
The Cave Wonders, the voice was definitely down pat. They nailed that.
Except they forgot who dare disturbs my slumber.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty, big mishap.
All I can say now is just I really hope that we get that Return Jafar sequel.
I will say don't hold your breath.
I'm definitely not. Well, I'll hold it longer than Aladdin did underwater, but, not long enough to the point where I can't get out of that situation.
Yeah, no, I don't. I unless it becomes a massive hit somehow, I don't think we will.
That's the thing. I wish that my theater had so many more people in, because I feel like a lot of people actually really enjoy this. Like I was looking at more comments and stuff earlier, and people just saying like there were a lot of people that said, I'm gonna love this movie. Will Smith, this is great. Can't wait for the music.
See, but that's wrong because people just say, I'm gonna love this movie. Just deciding I'm gonna love this movie.
I know.
That's why some people, and we're seeing with that diehard Disney people. I guarantee you go on a Tuesday night, and a lot of people are gonna be like, that's not the greatest. And this is a movie where I really like it, and I could also be biased because I love Aladdin, but I could see someone coming to me like, I didn't enjoy this movie, and I'm like, I can see it. It all comes down to taste and choices. So I don't think it's something. All film subjective, but I don't think it's something like a Jungle Book that is, I really enjoy. But when that came out, I just thought, okay, this everyone's gonna really. Well, I actually didn't even see it in theaters, but when I saw it, I was like, I can see why everyone really likes to love this. It's very well made. And then but sometimes I don't know. Same thing, Beauty and the Beast. I don't get that because I think that's a very boring movie. So
I think though, Lion King, like I like Aladdin more than I like Lion King, but I think in this case. Not that I'll like the Lion King live action more than the Aladdin live action because I haven't seen the Lion King one yet. But I think in general, you made that prediction a while ago that it'll be probably Endgame, Star Wars, and then Lion King. I think money wise, yeah. So I think you're probably right in that prediction. I think
Lion King will be huge. I think I'll like Lion King less just because I don't know how. And this had changes in it. I'm sure there'll be changes in the Lion King, but I just. I don't know. There's just nothing with the live action one as far as Aladdin. I like seeing different actors play these roles, this and that. Where I don't know with the Lion King, I know why they're doing it because of money, but it's nothing I need to personally see. I will see it, but I mean, it's not one I'd be like, you need to rush this into production. But I get why it's a business, so I just think who knows? Jon Favreau's a great director. I really enjoyed Jungle Book, so.
Plus, I mean, you got all the story and a lot of the humor, too. Lion King is not a very humorous movie.
No, I would disagree.
Really? You think
the
it's
second
funny?
Timon and Pumbaa get introduced,
right, there is those guys.
That whole middle section is just pure comedy. Them even watching him and Nyla or whatever.
They are humorous, yeah, but okay.
Even at the end,
I totally forgot.
They charge the warthog at the hyenas. There's a lot of jokes, and Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. So yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of humor in Lion King.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I don't really have much else to add. I love the musical number at the end. Solid.
Like after the credits?
No, it wasn't after the credits. It was like right when the movie ended.
No, there was one after the credits. Yeah, it was fine. I didn't need it.
There wasn't one after the credits.
I know. I'm joking.
Oh,
they could have put that on the DVD.
But yeah. It was just a good movie. I was thoroughly content. It was definitely a great date movie to take my date on. So,
as a date movie would imply. What are you numbering this?
I'm gonna give it a good. And this is like the bias thing seeping in through the lamp here. I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The only con I have is just what you said, that one song of her just breaking free. After she was arrested by Hakeem, so it was a little bit of a set, or it pulls you out, and then I guess just honestly, that's probably it. I'd probably even bump it up to 9.5 to be honest. I'll go 9.5 because really it was great. I was tapping my foot, I was laughing throughout the whole thing, and I love the music. As I said, I bought the soundtrack. I was listening to it, waiting for Travis to come home, and it was just a great time. I'm still singing those songs, so I'll be going home. I'll be playing it, making my food. So, it was great.
For the sake of my voice, you've heard everything that I need to say about this movie. I'm going to give it a 7.5. I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely watch this again. Like I said, this is probably my favorite Disney one. If I had to rank the Disney movies I'd seen, I'd say, so a best of list is very different. So I'm going favorite because best of, I would actually still put Jungle Book up there. But as far as my favorite ones, I would go, and this is, I'm missing two. Like we talked about missing what? Pete's Dragon and Dumbo. You and I have both not seen that, right? Have you seen Maleficent?
Yes.
Okay, give me your rankings then after. I'd go from the ones I've seen, and maybe you can tell if I missed any. I'd go Aladdin for my favorite, actually. I would go Cinderella, and then I would go Jungle Book. And then, I don't know if I'm missing anything. Oh, fuck, I guess Alice in Wonderland counts, right?
Yeah, it would. Both of them.
So I'd go Aladdin. I've not seen the second Alice in
You don't need
Wonderland.
to.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I would have gone Aladdin. What the hell did I just say? Cinderella, Jungle Book. I don't know what's worse between Beauty and the Beast and Alice in Wonderland. I'd go Alice in Wonderland, then Beauty and the Beast, and then Maleficent. Even though Maleficent, I really like the beginning, and Jolie is a boss in that movie. I really like her. And I have to see the second one because Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. So I don't think I'm missing anything, but I'll look while you're talking.
Double check. For me, Aladdin easily number one. I have to rewatch Cinderella. It's been a long time. Last time I saw it was in theaters.
So good. Kate Blanchett as the evil stepmother. Rob Stark as Prince Charming. There's some good stuff.
I'd probably put. Yeah, I would put that as second. It's really close though with Maleficent. I really, really like Maleficent. I'm super excited for the second one. See, it's not called Season of the Witch. What's it called? That's a Nicolas Cage movie, which is good. I own it. It's great.
I don't count. Christopher Robin should not be on this list. It's not a remake.
Yeah,
it's
no,
an
that's
adaptation.
a sequel adaptation kind of thing.
And I guess I'm not going to count the 101 Dalmatians. That's of an old generation.
Oh, that's definitely not this universe. That's old.
Like I, if you wanted me to count it, sure, at some point, and it would be higher up the first one. I don't know where the second one is, but I'm not going to put that in these rankings. I'm going to put this in the Alice of Wonderland and up.
Yeah, no, I would do. I would do
Maleficent that high, really.
Yeah, Aladdin, Cinderella, Maleficent. I really like Maleficent. I would do then. Why can't I think of it?
You got Jungle Book, Beauty and the Beast left.
I haven't seen Jungle Book.
You haven't?
No.
Oh my God.
No. But I would boost Sleeping Beauty. What's Beauty and the Beast? Yes, because it was good, but it definitely kind of let me down in some aspects. Check out our review for that a long time ago. And then after that, I'd probably put Alice in Wonderland, and then I would do Snow White and the Huntsman, and then the Huntsman. And then probably Alice Through the Looking Glass. Because I like the first Snow White and the Huntsman was kind of okay, but I mean, it wasn't the greatest. So you saw that one, right?
That's not Disney.
It's a Disney story.
No, it's not.
Snow White?
It's just a fairy tale.
But it's
Disney made a
one
version.
of those fucking fairy tales.
Most of them are. Most of them are. Little Mermaid is. If you went down the list, there's more of the fairy tales. Robin Hood, like there's more Disney ones that are just based on fairy tales than Disney owns. I think Pixar owns more of their stories than Disney does.
Fucking fairy tales. Yeah, you're right. Shit. Okay, well, just take those two out, and Through the Looking Glass is still at the bottom of the list.
Yikes. Taylor, where can they find us?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us by rubbing your lamp. Rub it real good, and you can find us when Genie comes out in the search bar. Geek vs. Space podcast. You'll find all this awesome stuff. You can find polls. You can find other reviews, and you got to stay tuned because, there's lots of stuff coming. You got Brightburn coming up. You got the newscast coming up. That's all the reason, to tune in. And you got Godzilla King of the Monsters coming up. And then after that, you got, I don't even know. You got so much stuff. You got Clone Wars. There was a Clone Wars retrospective episode that just dropped. And I totally forgot that was dropping.
Yeah, very, very risque one. Obi-Wan's love life, etc. Crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we do, just head down the description down below. Thank you very much. And until next time, it'll not be boring.
Bring me the lamp.
Bring me the lamp.
I think you're out of water over there.
I know, and I still got 4 podcasts to record.
Oh, boy.
Not tonight, thank goodness.